On the topic of hackers, how do you feel about the T breach?
There's some kind of poetic justice to people who spend their time sharing the private information and photos of individuals, having their private information and photos being shared. I guess just to give context, T was an app which essentially was allowing women to be able to take pictures of different men and then be able to share stories about them. The reason for this was essentially like a safety slash like secrecy thing, where women essentially wanted to purportedly keep each other safe by sharing images of men they have dated and stories in order to be able to kind of have a level of knowledge that they would be able to share. I think there's kind of an ethics violation problem there. If you think about it, people are having their photos and their information being shared on a platform that they're not aware of. We've already kind of addressed a lot of that with the Patriot Act and like Edward Snowden whistleblowing on different companies doing that. And so while I'm against hacking, I do think there's some kind of poetic justice to people who spend their time sharing the private information and photos of individuals, having their private information and photos being shared. Again, it's not that I support that, I just think there's a level of poetic justice to that. Nevertheless, it is a disaster, so I do hope that the T developers improve their security standards and work on that. They've lost a lot of privacy, trust, and that kind of thing in their user base. There's been kind of allegations of them vibe coding or coding with AI, and that's how this problem has come to light. Looking at what the actual problem was in terms of them just having like an unrestricted AWS bucket with their photos free to the internet, it doesn't seem that that's the case. I think that's like a fairly junior level problem that anyone could do. It's not really something that an AI will do for you, actually, because it's so egregious. But it is kind of funny because I'll see a lot of these DEF CON or Black Hat presentations. Those are conferences where they talk about black hats and like ethical hacking, things like that. And they'll do talks about making sure that your buckets are closed and not open to the internet. And I'll think like, wow, that's such a silly thing to present on. Of course, that's what you would do. So it is funny to see a global platform like T succumb to kind of a trivial issue like that. It's a bad situation. I don't enjoy hacking, so I hope that it gets resolved as quickly as possible.